Hey everybody, it's Cheap Comic Collector. And I forgot to bring in my episode list, so not quite sure which episode this is. But it's a What Am I Reading episode. And we're just going to get right into it. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Let's see. Today we've got Magnus Robot Fighter number 37 from 1974. And when I looked this up, I think I saw that it was actually a reprint from number 11. But this was a cool cover. It's got the apes over here. And those are actually robots. But this was an interesting one. It kind of reminded me, story-wise, of an old Legion of Superheroes. The old Legion of Superheroes style, where everything was kind of divided into chapters, and they were looking at monitors a lot and stuff like that. Kind of reminded me of that a little bit. But anyway, the food in Magnus's world in the future, the food supply is being attacked by bands of wolves, and so they're trying to track those down, and this is the bad guy. He's behind it, and I don't know if they ever if he's from a previous issue or not. He's somebody they've dealt with before, and he's a bad guy. He's trying to destroy basically civilization as they know it. So this lady here, we've seen her before in a previous issue that I've read, where she has these animals that she's raised. Her family has raised them to be intelligent, so they can talk, and they have, with the help of different things, they can talk and communicate and are intelligent. And so this guy sends the wolves after them because for some reason he thinks that they can help Magnus and the police to discover who he is. And so she gets kidnapped. They battle the apes, which are robotic. That's how he finds out the wolves are probably robots as well. And it continues, and they're trying to find the bad guy. And I don't know, the whole tone just reminded me a lot of the early Legion of Superheroes, maybe Tommy Tomorrow from DC. Very much reminded me of like DC sci-fi from the 60s. And eventually, they battle it out. The robots are battling the intelligent animals, and of course Magnus wins eventually. And it's all done by Russ Manning. He's actually got a signature here at the end, so it was pretty good. Wasn't great, but it was pretty good. And then there's a one-page text story called Jump High, Jump Fast, and that was pretty it. That's pretty much it. It was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. And then we have John Carter, Warlord of Mars, number 2, 1977, by Marv Wolfman and Gil Kane, with inks by Rudy Nebris. Rudy Nebris. I don't know. So this is more the style of art that I think Gil Kane is suited for. I never really cared too much for his superhero stuff. But I think his artwork is more suited for this kind of stuff. This was very, very heavy on uh, the narrative balloons. I honestly didn't finish reading this because it just really was dragging on with all the narrative. And I was kept falling asleep, and I just didn't finish it. But it starts off with the Dejathoris has been kidnapped. John Carter catches the red Martian that they think did it. He gets sentenced to jail or something, but that's where he wants to be, so he escapes, and then John Carter goes to track him down, and that's pretty much where I stopped reading, and just kind of page through. There's some these white apes of Mars he encounters in battles, so that's pretty cool. I'll probably have to go back sometime and reread this. Maybe when I have the whole series, I'll be more into it. But it ends on a cliffhanger with John Carter being knocked out. He's in the hands of the bad guy and the white apes, and that's pretty much it. It was okay. The art's fine. But I couldn't finish reading it. I don't know why. It just was bothering me too much to read all the heavy word balloons, and I don't know if that's because it was adapted from a novel, so they're just trying to get all that narrative in there. But it just seemed a lot of very unnecessary narrative. But anyway, 1975, we got Beagle Boys number 24. And this was actually a nice surprise. I wasn't expecting to like this very much. Usually the Beagle Boys stories are extremely silly. These weren't as quite as silly. They're very much written for children, but they had good. These stories in this issue, I guess maybe it was an early enough issue where the stories were interesting. They had a nice little plot to them instead of it just being silly. So in this first one, $1 Million Stew, the Beagle Boys are hungry. They're broke, and they're out in the countryside, and they see Scrooge and Huey, Dewey, and Louie returning from fishing to Grandma Duck's farm. She's a good cook, so they steal some of her stew, and they're all going to the county fair where Grandma's going to win first prize. Uncle Scrooge wants to buy her recipe so he can mass produce it. The Beagles decide to steal the recipe so that they can get a bunch of money from Scrooge. And so they kidnap the judges of the contest and replace them in disguise. And then once they get the recipe, they try getting away. They trip over the nephews. The nephews slow them down by throwing pies on the windshield, and then the police show up because Grandma Duck called them because she realized that the judges weren't real, and then she basically refuses to sell her recipe to Uncle Scrooge because she doesn't want to. So the second one, it was actually pretty good. It was enjoyable. The Bubblegum Bandits is the second one, and this is kind of a clever little gag story. The Beagles are hungry again. They remember that they have a savings account that was started by an aunt a very long time ago. But whenever they go to the bank to try and get what actually is their money out, they get recognized, and everybody thinks they're robbing the bank when they're just trying to get their money. So yeah, that was a cute little story. And then lastly, we got the Ruthless Toothless Shark. This one got a little silly, but it did have at least some plot to it. The beagles are trying to scare Scrooge off of a development and ruin it for him. I forget exactly why. I guess they're trying to get a hold of the land or something. And so they have a mechanical shark. Real details on where they got a mechanical shark from. It's a submarine with a fin on it. And so they're pulling all these tricks. They have rubber jellyfish that are floating up on the beach and stuff to scare away all the tourists because the water is shark infested. So the nephews find it out, save the day, and that's all there is to it, really. The third story was definitely the least enjoyable, but it was okay. And then we have a Wonder Woman Convergence number 1 and 2. Almost done. Only one more Convergence series after this one. Yay! So as always, this is from 2015, and surprisingly, this was written by Larry Hama, who I know from like G.I. Joe and those kind of stories. I think he's done like some Wolverine and stuff like that. Just wouldn't expect him to really be a Wonder Woman writer. Art was by Joshua Middleton, and it's very well done. The art's really good. So, yeah, Wonder Woman and Steve are in Gotham City. I don't know why I still don't understand why everybody is in Gotham City in all of these different stories. And apparently they're all in different Gotham cities. They're not all in the same Gotham City. So it's very, it's a little odd. But anyway, they're doing their best they can to help people. Etta Candy, Wonder Woman's best friend, has bought into this cult of people who saying the angels are coming soon to rescue them because they're all trapped under the dome. And so they're there at this church, and then the voice erupts, and telling everybody about the challenge, and so she gets her powers back, but she gets knocked out by the leader of the cult, who thinks she's an instrument of Satan, and they drag her down into the, I guess you'd call them catacombs of the old church. And meanwhile, Steve is looking for her. He went AWOL off of his job to try and find her. The dome's gone, so they can see the other cities off in the distance. And then, so Wonder Woman gets her powers back. These beings show up at the gate, and the cultists think that they're angels when in reality they are not. I'm not clear on why it's showing them with wings here, because this is actually Catwoman, Joker, and Poison Ivy from the Red Rain universe. So they're vampires. I don't know why they're showing them with wings. Do they have wings? I guess they have wings. I don't know. It's kind of weird that vampires have wings. I know when they turn into bats they can fly, but okay, I don't know. Catwoman is actually kind of a werewolf type creature, and Joker's pretty creepy, and so is Poison Ivy as vampires. That's pretty creepy. As you can see here, they turned the cultists also into vampires, so they're attacking Steve, and Joker has taken Etta Candy, And yeah, he's got wings, so I guess they have wings. And in the second issue, unfortunately, the first few couple pages of this were ripped. I didn't. This is the first time I've opened it, so I didn't know that. This would have been from some box that I got. And anyway, this one's just kind of a big ongoing fight scene in this issue where the Joker has Eddie Candy, so he's fighting Wonder Woman, who's trying to save her. Poison Ivy and Catwoman, and the turned cultists have Steve Trevor. So Wonder Woman's racing back to save Steve. She saves him, but then the Joker has Eddie Candy, so Eddie Candy gets turned into a vampire, and then she goes back to save Eddie Candy, and then Steve Trevor gets turned into a vampire, and I mean, honestly, she just can't quite make up her mind what she's going to do, so everybody gets turned into a vampire. And the art is great. The art is, I mean, this is really creepy looking Joker and Poison Ivy here. And then this is Steve Trevor after he's been turned and dead. And then the earthquake happens, and Steve actually manages to fight off his vampiric urges, I guess, and grab Eddie Candy and jumps into this pit and to save Wonder Woman instead of attacking her. And then everybody gets buried by the earthquake. Wonder Woman crawls out, and all her friends are dead. And that's pretty much it. Good story. Not very happy ending, but it was a good story. I enjoyed it more than I thought I did. It would, especially after I saw Larry Hama was writing it, because I was like, well, what's that going to be like? But it was pretty good. Nothing in here really jumps out to me as being better than the other. I guess I'd go with the Wonder Woman Convergence story just because of the artwork being so phenomenal in it. But I mean, they all had decent artwork for the stories they're telling, and yeah, don't really have a favorite out of these four. They're all pretty good. None of them are great. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I don't have my list in front of me, so I'm not sure what we're doing tomorrow. I'm filming these a little bit out of order, and I think it's the second part of a short box, but I'm not positive. It might be something else. So anyway, thank you. Please like and subscribe. We will see you next time.